Why should you choose Nolf, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram in Fairmont City? Why wouldn't you choose them? At Nolf, their sales are speedy and include upfront and straightforward pricing. If it's service and parts you're after, they have skilled technicians who are factory trained while offering knowledgeable parts experts. Maybe you need Nolf's full-service body shop offering top-quality collision repair to all makes and models of cars, trucks, vans, and SUVs. Or do you want to cruise the highway in a clean, shiny vehicle thanks to Nolf's detailing service? No matter your needs, Nolf, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram in Fairmont City is there for you. Find out more at NolfChryslerDodge.com. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of Nolf Bites, the show that bites from Nolf, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram in Fairmont City, Pennsylvania. I'm Chris Rossetti. I'm alongside Ronnie Geist and Andy Byers. And we're down to the last week of the football regular season, guys. Where the heck did it go?
Went out with nice weather.
It's still nice out today.
Well,
It's
it
been
rained
nice
all
all
day.
season.
Yeah, it has been. It's been a great season.
Mm-hmm.
I think the real question is, how come you got cookies?
Well, I think you got cookies too.
No,
You're not allowed to eat now,
no
are you?
cookies. Nope. No
Andy's allowed to eat.
No, we're good.
Good. Subway brought some cookies down for us today. Subway here in New Bethlehem. They didn't bring them down specifically for the show. They brought them down for the great people here at Nolf, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. And guys, what's going on down here this week? While I eat my cookie, you can tell people what's going on.
There's a lot going on. We got deals like you wouldn't believe. There's trucks with huge rebates on them, 0% on stuff, which is crazy. We don't see a lot of 0% anymore, but 0% on some of the different trucks.
And interest rates on used stuff's down too, helping out. We got a lot of used trucks, a lot of good used inventory right now. If you're looking for a late model used truck or SUV, we got quite a bit going on right now.
Yeah, so come on down and get a deal.
What do you have going on football-wise? Andy, I don't think it's any surprise. Ronnie didn't go to the football game Friday night. I think his kid was sick.
Well,
Bulldogs scored 37 points.
Right?
he did switch to offense this year.
Yeah.
We've been talking about this all
There
year.
could be some denominator here that's
They're definitely hiding me.
I think he was behind the scenes maybe a little bit.
No.
I think that what they should do is they should turn him into Stat Geek, Ronnie. Have Ronnie keep all the stats.
That's what I used to do when I coached junior high and Waz was the coach. I'd go Friday nights and stand beside him and he'd call the play and I'd write it down. It was
that so that he didn't forget what play he called?
Yeah, that way when you went back and watched the film, you knew what the play was. That was easily the most scared I was on the sidelines because if you got it wrong, you were going to hear it. Or if you had to ask him to repeat it, it was the end. It was terrible.
There were some big time. And we haven't talked high school football as much on the last few shows. We're going to kind of concentrate on high school football this week. There's some big time games over the weekend. Really started on Thursday. Raise your hand if you saw Central Clarion just handing it to Du Bois. I don't see any hands up.
I thought their defense played really well to hold that offense. I mean, that Du Bois offense is high powered. They drove down the field early. I think they had a tipped interception in the end zone to start off. I mean, that's tough, but just to hold them, within check all game. Kudos to the coaches and the staff.
It was one of those cases. You talk sometimes about your best defense can be a great ball control offense, right? And that's what they did. I mean, they held the ball for 32 plus minutes to 15 for Du Bois. If Du Bois is never on the field, can't score.
Well, when Du Bois runs that high tempo offense too, when you're throwing 3 passes that can legitimately take 28 seconds off the clock and the other team can hold the ball and hold it successfully, that hurts.
Du Bois wasn't running nearly as fast as Punxsutawney was on Friday night. Punxsutawney was just...
Well, when you got kids as big as Carn City has chasing after you, you'll run pretty fast. They build them different down in Petroleum.
They do, and I was actually it was my birthday this weekend, guys.
Happy birthday.
I guess the cookies are really my birthday present. You didn't even know it, but
right.
that's okay. But my mom and dad came up yesterday. It was my birthday was Saturday. My mom and dad came up yesterday, and my mother and father-in-law surprised me and came down from Tonesta as well. And they all took me out to dinner with my wife to the Allegheny Grill, and we were talking. Mom and dad had got. They don't usually go up that way, but they went up through like Petrolia and all that to get to the grill because I wanted to drop some stuff off. To kind of, it wasn't a surprise party, so to speak, but to surprise me, they had like some balloons there and some different birthday stuff. It was that big 50th birthday thing that they all want to make fun of me for now. But anyhow, they were talking about that plant in Petrolia, the petroleum plant, whatever. And I actually made the comment that I think that is why part of the reason why Karn City is really, really good and tough at football is that they still have that blue collar mentality there that you don't necessarily see in a lot of places anymore, right? Like the glass plants have gone away, the timber industry's died. There aren't very many coal mines and steel mills and all of that around. And I think that the identity of Western Pennsylvania football, specifically in the WPIAL, but beyond the WPIAL, was built on that blue-collar, tough, hard-nosed mentality. And they still have that in Karn City. It's not, let's throw the ball around 70 times. It's let's line up and smash you. Let's play to the whistle, maybe a little beyond the whistle.
Right.
It's a different mentality there, isn't it not?
Well, we kind of joke that those guys wake up, they play football, they graduate, have babies, go to work in the refinery, and those kids play football. It's just reoccurring.
That's what I'm talking about, right? This is what used to happen in Western Pennsylvania in the steel mills, right? They would be born, they'd go high school, play high school football, go work in the mills, have kids, their kids, so forth, so on. That's what Western Pennsylvania football used to be. Obviously, we're beyond that in most places now. The straight blue collar job has gone away. It's been replaced by white collar jobs. I'm not saying white collar kids can't play football. I mean, we still see lots of great football players, right? There's a different mentality, though.
Well, Urban Meyer, there's a clip of Urban Meyer talking about that, and he said, during the Rust Belt, when the Rust Belt was in its prime, there'd be 20 to 30 kids from Western Pennsylvania and Eastern Ohio that were Notre Dame caliber kids. And once all those jobs moved south, to the southern states, North Carolina, Florida, wherever they left, that those kids still exist, but there's about 6 to 10 of them now.
And now where do they exist?
Most of them are Florida, North Carolina.
And what did you just say? All those jobs went where?
South.
Uh-huh.
Right. Well, Andy can attest to this. One thing about Karn City, I always think like if you want to be the program, you have to mirror the program that is there already. And Karn City's that program for us in this area. Continually every year they put a competitive program out, but their Pee Wee midget program mirrors their varsity program. Am I right, Andy? And
yeah, they're very similar with what they run with.
Well, and they have 2 of them too. That's the interesting part. Like it's not like
East Brady and
Karn City has its own program. East Brady has its own program still, and so they have enough kids to actually have 2 programs, right? Whereas I think Andy, you were saying you guys were like at Red Bank had 13 kids in the upper program,
right?
And that was all you had. They had enough kids to have 2 programs that had that many or more,
right?
And so when that's the case, you're going to have more kids playing football. The more kids that play football, the more chances you have of a few of them figuring it all out by the time they get to high school. The thing about Karn, and it was really interesting. So Larry Weiser, we had to put him on the injured list on Friday night. He had some outpatient surgery. Dave Constantino comes down and does the game with me. And, I have Weiser's Wisdom. It's a sponsored thing by DE Sports. I can't do Weiser's Wisdom with Dave Constantino. Dave's a basketball guy. He's not going to give you the breakdown that Larry gives you. We understand that. Everybody knows that. Dave would be the first one to tell you that, right? But I still wanted to do it. Still got to give something there, right? So I kind of turned it into who's the guy that who do you think is going to make the most impact tonight for each team? And, I'm thinking Dave's going to tell me like Hunter for Karn City, Hunter Shearer, Cole Johnston, somebody like that, right? Owen Higginbotham. Okay. A solid choice, right? Owen's a really good running back for them. Not the first running back you think of, but a kid that's had his moments during his career. Very good kid, very good player. Every team needs an Owen Higginbotham on it to win. What does Owen Higginbotham do on the first play of the game? Goes 80 yards for a touchdown. My call was literally, Dave Constantino, you called it. But that's what makes Karn City so strong, right? Everybody's expecting Hunter Shear to get that football. Everybody's expecting Cole Johnson to get the football. It's one of those reverse plays where, they hand it. They might have even handed it to Shear, and then he hands it to Higginbotham going in the other direction. And the next thing you know, the kid's in the clear, and he's got 50 yards of open field between him and the end zone. Like, that's just what they do. It's Karn City football. Like, if I said Karn City football, that's exactly what you're thinking about, right?
Yeah, their system's so simple, it's complex. Like, if you watch how their offense works, it's kind of going back into that 50, 60, 70 era. I mean, they'll do quarterback leads. How often do you see them pitch the ball and then the quarterback Johnson leads it through the hole and he's smashing a linebacker? The thing that I took from it, I watched some of the game. I wasn't able to watch it all, but I was able to watch some. When they run the ball and they're running to the sidelines, they never go out of bounds. They go into somebody.
Yeah, they don't shy from contact.
Right.
They welcome contact.
White collar kids go out of bounds.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Blue-collar.
At the end of the day, you're right. White collar kids run out of bounds. Blue collar kids, like, I want to get hit. It's just a different mentality, really, at the end of the day.
But from a mental standpoint, if you're that D-back and because how many times you hear, just push him out of bounds, just push him out of bounds.
By the way, Karn City cans Punxsutawney their first loss. This is part of why we're talking about this. But yeah, go on.
But you'll hear coaches push him out of bounds, push him out of bounds. As a running back, if I can make you think, hey, he might not just go out of bounds, that's a little advantage that I can use later on in the game.
Well, we talk so much about Aiden Bliss. Isn't that one of Aiden Bliss's strengths? Is that he just runs you over. He invites you to hit him.
Right. I used to have an old coach who would say, you run them over in the first and second quarter, and the third and fourth, they'll get out of your way.
Like, Ronnie, that was the kind of running back you were.
Right.
You were the kind of running back that was like, hit me. I dare you to hit me. You might tackle me in the first quarter. You might tackle me in the second quarter. Fourth quarter, you want nothing to do with me anymore.
Right. Like, there has to be a little bit of a mentality. Like I tell the running backs at Red Bank, the line's only job is to get you to the line of scrimmage. From then on, it's your job to get yards. But now, if you get hit in the backfield, now that's a different scenario. But if you get to the line of scrimmage, you have to make someone miss, you have to run someone over, or you have to hit a hole. That's on you. Like Karn City, there was one play going towards the Karn City sidelines, and it was late in the game. And I'm thinking, all right, they got the first down here. The kid will step out. I mean, he didn't get any more yards by going through the guy. He just chose, I'm just going to run into this guy's face and see what happens.
Well, what's the other thing that Karn City does? Like we talked about, playing to that whistle, maybe a little beyond that whistle. They probably, at the end of the year, they probably have more personal foul penalties than any other team. I'm okay with that. Here's why.
You have to play to the shadows of the whistle.
Yeah, because, okay, sometimes you're going to get that penalty, right? But you know what's happening? Every time that happens, there's that little thing in the back of the other guy's mind that now I'm going to get hit, right? Even if he doesn't end up getting hit, he's thinking he's going to get hit. And that can change everything. You know that. You played.
The other thing that is a little thing that the casual maybe person watching doesn't see, but you'll see their offensive line 14 yards downfield blocking, and they might have blocked 3 people in the process of getting there, but all 11 on the field want to do damage. They're literally running to do damage. And those are things that I think that culture of the system they run, Andy sees it in the Pee Wee midgets and all that. I don't think they come out of the womb like that per se, but it's kind of bred into them over time.
But it's bred, and what is it? It's the Pete Douglases of the world. A guy that was a running back in your era, maybe a little before your era, now has kids in the program, and it's just it gets passed down. The same coaches are there year in and year out. And Joe Sherwin was the offensive coordinator for Ed Conto for all those years. And then Ed steps down, and who's the head coach? Joe Sherwin's the head coach, right? And his offensive coordinator becomes Zach Keppel, who was an offensive lineman for them, who was then on the coaching staff. It permeates down there from generation to generation. It's the same coaches. It's the same people. We talk about how because they have they have that plant, it might be a blue collar job, but it's jobs. And so people don't leave the area. And so the kids are second or third generation kids that are getting the same thought processes. And you're not trying to teach somebody who just moved into the district what your philosophy is as a football program.
Right.
And so that's why I thoroughly believe that's why Karn City is solid year in and year out. That has a lot to do with it. Speaking of unbeatens, we're down to one of them now that Punxsutawney lost them. We knew we were going to get rid of one up in Port Allegheny. Union AC struck first, went up 7-0, and then it was pretty much, well, I wouldn't say pretty much all Gators, but pretty much all Gators. Union AC had a couple of chances where they got inside the red zone, missed a field goal when it was 7-7 late in the first half. I'm not sure I like kicking field goals when I don't kick all year. Like, I haven't tried that all year, and now I'm trying one in a game like that. I'm not sure that I'm a big fan of that right now. If you wanted to be kicking field goals, kick field goals all year long.
Yeah, I'm sure there were circumstances where they probably could have tried a field goal instead of waiting in the biggest game.
And I'm not putting any of that on the kids. Sorry, Dan Reed, but you got to. Sometimes you coach earlier in the year for things that might happen later in the year.
Right.
And even in games where you're blowing teams out, maybe you send a field goal team out just to kick a field goal. I don't think anybody feels like if you're kicking a field goal up 15 or 20 or 25 that you're really piling it on to anybody. I think people would understand that you're just trying something at that point, right?
Yeah.
But nevertheless, that game, Port Allegheny really took over that game in the second half. They get a score. They took the advantage. I mean, the field goals missed, and then they go right down and score with not a whole lot of time on the clock. And then they get a big punt return, and that's what they are. They've got so many different skill weapons. We talk about Aiden Bliss a lot, right? But Kellen Vio, Nick Wilfong, Brendan Philhart, the quarterback, they've got a lot of skill guys that can beat you. And when you think about the fact that they're missing one of their top skill guys who tore his ACL last year and never was able to come back, how much better they would have been.
Is he still not back?
He's still not back.
What was the score when they kicked that field goal?
7-7.
Yeah.
Late in the first half.
They were at like the 8-ish, something like that. Like it was pretty close.
One team has obviously been to the state championship game, right? Port Allegheny. A lot of that team were members of last year's. Union AC has been close, but hasn't been able to quite get over that hump over the last couple of years. I think what you saw there was one team that knows how to win and one team that's still learning how to win those games. The key for the Falcon Knights now is to take what they learned in that loss and move forward with it. And maybe the next time you play them, hey, look, we're 7-7 late in the first half, right? That's what you've got to take out of that game. You don't take out of that game, if you're the Falcon Knights, the fact you lost 35-7.
Yeah, to play devil's advocate, though, I mean, it's easy for us to sit here and say it now, but it was 7-7 when they kicked the field goal. Chances are you're not winning that game 10-7.
Well, correct.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
you got to score touchdowns to win.
Right.
Karn City and Punxsutawney was a great example of that, right? Punxsutawney scored the same amount of times as Karn City scored. Difference was Karn City scored touchdowns. Punxsutawney settled for 3 field goals. Now, I mean, my goodness. First of all, let's backtrack. I don't mean to backtrack, but I want to backtrack for a second. Last time you saw a high school kid make 3 field goals in the same game like Owen Roken did.
Wasn't one like a 39. It was a decent
45. He made a 45 and a 39-yarder in that game.
Yeah.
And the 45-yarder, probably good from about 48 or 49. The 39-yarder would have been probably good from about 50. The 32-yarder, he kicked some extra points where I'm not sure if they ever found the football after the extra points.
Did he miss any field goals?
No, he was 3 for 3. And in addition to that, he kicked off, I think, 6 times in the game, 5 touchbacks. The other one went to the 1, and they tackled the guy at the 20. So Karn City won that game having Karn City had to win that game going from its own 20, like on every drive. So give the Gremlins a lot of credit for that too. But Owen Roken is the real deal. I mean, this kid's if he wants to, he's going to kick in college somewhere. Right. I mean, he's a sophomore. He's kicking 45-yard field goals like they're nothing. Really impressive. But yeah, back to your point. Yes, you're probably not winning 10-7 up in Port Alligator. You need to score a touchdown there.
There's also the Bliss effect in that, in the sense of like he brings everyone else up on that team. You know, all those kids are great kids, the ones you're talking about. But when at any time, you know, like, hey, we might give it to our best guy and he breaks off a 40-yarder, you definitely play with a little more swagger.
A Port Karn City scrimmage just for fun.
That'd be a tough one. Karn City's so big. I talked to a friend of mine that was at the game, and he said, I was walking through, and everyone from Karn City, all those kids were as big as I was.
We played that JV game against them. Their quarterback looked like he was 6'4". He looked like a man and playing JV.
You know, those good blue collar jobs you talk about, they attract those types of people.
They do. The
genetics come
the genetics come because guys like me don't want to work blue collar jobs. Okay, like I'm just gonna be honest. Guys like me don't want to work blue collar jobs. Guys that want to work blue collar jobs are tough guys.
Right.
They really are. Like I got a ton of respect for those people. I got a ton of respect for the people that want to work with their hands, want to be outside, want to do construction, want to do the steel workers. I can't do that. I'm a soft son of a, you know what? I know what I am. Okay, like I'm not gonna. I got a big belly, and I'm not gonna shy away from what I am. I understand what I am. I don't want to do that, but the people that do, they raise their kids to work hard, and you know, and I'm not saying, like, I was raised to work hard too. I just work hard in a different way.
Right.
Yeah, and I work hard in a different way. You can be white collar and have a work ethic. That's not what I'm saying. Like, that's not, I think, at all what we're saying. I think what we're saying is that when you have to really work for a living, and I mean really work for a living, there's a different mentality.
Yeah.
We're just selling cars, Finn. That's blue.
I mean,
probably white collar.
It's absolutely white collar. I mean, think about the difference between what you do. You come in and you've got time in your day to sit down and we do this show once a week, right? You're not doing this show if you're working at whatever the name of the plant is at Petroleum, right? Like you're going in and you're sweating and you need a shower and a beer after work and the whole night. It's different. It just is.
And you watch a football game, probably.
Yeah.
Drink a beer and watch a football game.
Yeah, and if your dad's working in the steel mill, sweating like heck, working hard, and you come home from practice and you're like, Dad, the coach yelled at me.
Yeah, the dad's gonna have some choice words for you. It's old school stuff.
I got a cramp.
Yeah, your point.
Yeah.
Can't say, well, we could say, because we don't have any FCC regulations on this show. We could just say it. I mean, get your ass out there. See, I'll just say it. I don't care. Somebody doesn't like it, they can turn off the show, right? Like, come on. We're all adults.
Back to the Union game, though. One thing about Union is they got their yards. Those running backs ran hard.
They did. And I thought they would. I really did. I thought they could run the ball on them. You got to finish, though, at some point. Like, if you don't finish, you can't win football games. Speaking of finishing, my goodness, what did your Bulldogs have? Like, what did Blaine and the Wizard feed them?
So I'll tell you what,
with 8 minutes to go in the third quarter.
Maybe we should take some credit with the Wizard hat and the visor last week. Maybe that's what it was.
Well, we're only going to take credit for the good part. I mean, they did get down by 20 first. Let's not forget that.
Well,
part.
that might have just been enough to spark the Wizard.
22, I think.
It was. Was it? I thought it was 20.
Was it 28-6 at one point? Or
maybe
20. I don't know.
I know it was like 34-14 at one point. So it's possible that could have been 28-6.
It helps a lot when your senior quarterback, fastest kid on the field, takes off and
easily his best game of the season.
Oh yeah,
maybe the best game of his career in some ways, because if you turn in the running part of it, which I think we all thought that Braylon could do, right? Like between the running and the passing part of that game, there's a good reason he's the player of the week this week.
Yeah,
and he's the player of the week this week, and you know, like
It was a must-win game. So
It,
I
it,
think
it was.
it was a big win for him.
That's what you
stepping
want to
up.
see your senior quarterback do. That to me, everything that Braylon Wagner has accomplished at Red Bank, okay, everything up to that point on Friday night was great. What he did on Friday night was special. Friday night was a separator from everything he had done up to that point to everything he did. And now the real key is, can he build on that momentum? Can Red Bank build on that momentum? They're probably going to be the number 3 seed. I think that win, as long as they don't go out and lay an egg against Brookville this week, I think that win kind of secures a number 3 seed for them. Port's going to be number 1. Union's going to be number 2. Union AC is going to be number 2. I think Red Bank's 3. Now, the question is, what the heck do you do with 4, 5, and 6? So you have Kane that's sitting here at 7-2, but really hasn't beaten anybody of any consequence.
You have Kane, Ridgeway.
You have Ridgeway, who just blew a game against Brockway, and that they did. I mean, give Brockway a lot of credit. They're down 3 with 2.5 minutes to go, and they win by 7. They in regulation. I mean, that's Aiden Patton had himself a last couple of drives through a couple of long not touchdown passes, a couple long passes. One that set up inside the 10-yard line. One set up a field goal by Caleb Doherty to tie that game. One set up his Patton's own 5-yard game-winning touchdown run. Cal Kennedy made a catch on the field goal drive. I don't know if anybody had a chance to see it. If not, go back and watch it on the Hounds Facebook page. Cal Kennedy made a catch that was big time to set them up for the field goal that tied the game. He laid out, and the video's not great. It's way back because of the setup at Ridgeway. Nobody's real fault. It's just bad setup at Ridgeway in terms of how far you are from the field and the press box and all that. But and nothing Ridgeway can do about that. This was all these things were done before video became a big deal, right? So like, it is what it is. Some, people got to understand that it just is what it is sometimes. Nobody's complaining about it. He made a layout, stretch out catch in traffic. It wasn't like it was just by himself. Like, he had to beat a guy and then dive and make the catch. And I mean, that's a big time play.
Yeah, that's what you need in situations like that. I said about the Bliss effect, like for Red Bank, it's the Braylon effect. He, raises all boats around him with his play. Brockway's the same way with their quarterback. People are going to play to the level that you set the standard at.
Yeah. And so, those games were all big time games. And, it's, it'll make, but again, what do we do with that seeding? You have Kane. Kane lost to Keystone, but rallied to beat Ridgeway. You have Keystone, which lost to Ridgeway. Is Keystone in a must-win at Coudersport this week to even make the playoffs? Although if they don't beat Coudersport, they don't belong in the playoffs.
I think they're trending in the wrong way, so they need to do something. They can't go on a 3. That'd be 3 losses, right? Yeah, right.
I think if it's me right now, though, I think that the seeding.
Does the committee decide the seeding?
Yeah. So I think if it's me right now, just because I can't really break that, Kane probably gets the advantage because A, they have a better record, and B, they do have the win over Ridgeway, and Keystone is, as Andy said, trending in the wrong direction, which I think hurts them. And so the real question is when I start looking at it, I don't look at the 4 seed, I look at the 5, and I ask myself, is Keystone the 5 or is Ridgeway the 5? And I think right now I say Ridgeway's the 5. Mm-hmm. And so if I say Ridgeway's the 5, I'm saying Keystone's the 6. So now if Ridgeway's the 5, who's the 5 and who's the 4, Kane or Ridgeway? Well, Kane has the win over Ridgeway, so I think that gives Kane the 4. So I think that my seeding right now, going into this week's of games in single A, Port 1, Union AC 2, Red Bank 3, Kane 4, Ridgeway 5, Keystone 6, Cameron 7. Would you argue with any of that?
Well, I was just going to say, if you're just looking at who beat who did what, that's probably a sound order. But if you look at the games that Keystone's lost and the manner that they've lost them, they lost a close one to Clarion, they lost a close one to Union, they lost a close one to us. You can make the argument that those are quality losses. A loss is a loss is a loss, but those are quality losses. So does that push them over someone?
I mean, the only other argument you could make is that because Kane doesn't have a signature win other than if you count Ridgeway as a signature win where they rallied, that Ridgeway's 4, Keystone's 5, Kane's 6.
I think Keystone.
I mean, I guess from a selfish standpoint, I know you don't like to hear that here in New Bethlehem, but from a selfish standpoint, I'd love to see Keystone and Red Bank again.
Right.
I think I put Keystone up there pretty high, I think, because Keystone has a good football team. I mean, they come out and played Red Bank tough in the beginning. And I think they played Union tough, like Ronnie's saying. They played Clarion tough. I think that if you had, like, I don't know, maybe ask Ronnie, but as a fan, if Red Bank had to pick a team to play again, I don't know if I want to play Keystone again. Just
right. Like, that's kind of where I'm coming from someone that's been there. Like, I would much rather take my chances with a Kane than to see a.
And I think there's a legitimate argument that can be made with what you're talking about. If the idea is to seed them based on how good you think each team is, then I think that then in that case, I go Ridgeway 4, Keystone 5, Kane 6.
Yeah.
Look, I'm having trouble ignoring the fact that just 2 weeks ago, Ridgeway beat Keystone. Like, that has to matter at some point when you're looking at those. Like, you could look at the Ridgeway win or loss to Kane and go, well, that was like back in early September before Ridgeway really started playing well. And, you know, and so maybe it doesn't mean as much as a win in mid-October does. But I think a win in mid-October has to have some bearing on your seeding.
Also, if you look at, like, Keystone with the Nellis loss, you know, does that play a huge
Sure
impact?
Sure it does. And I think that's why.
So when they're seating them, are they looking at them types of
and then
pieces?
And you should. I think that if I'm on a seating committee, all of that comes in. Like, okay, Nellis is done for the year. If Nellis wasn't done for the year and they expected him back, would that change your mind on exactly where you seed them? Yeah, I think it does. I think it has to. I think that's the reason you have a seeding committee.
Right.
If you just wanted to seed on record or PowerPoints, then you don't have a seeding committee. You don't need a seeding committee. But if you're going to have a seeding committee, that seeding committee has to be, they at the very least have to be having the discussion we're having right here. If they're not having this discussion right now, right here, today, then there's a problem with having a seating committee. They're not doing their job if they're not having that discussion.
Who sits on the committee?
I don't know who's all on the committee. So
I didn't know what that was.
So their District 9 committee members are on the committee. But, like, you've got to be having these conversations prior to the weekend, right? You have to be like, hey, going in to this week's worth of games, this is what we're thinking. Now, that doesn't mean that's where you end up. Things can change on a dime this weekend, right? Like, Red Bank could lose to Brookville. Does that change my mind on where Red Bank could be? 100% that could change my mind on where Red Bank could be. If Keystone goes and loses to Cattersport, we might not even be having this conversation. They might not even go to the playoffs. I don't think they're going to lose to Cattersport. They shouldn't lose to Cattersport, but they, you know, who knows? It's why you play the game, right? Mm-hmm. Ridgeway, I want to say plays. Oh heck, hold on, we'll find that out here in a second. I'm just going to bring that up real quick. Ridgeway plays Otto Eldred. Again, not a game they should lose. Yeah. And then you look at that. Like, so they lose that game in the last second to Brockway. They win that game. They've won them 4 in a row. They started out 1-4. They're 3-1 since then. How you're playing now should matter at least a little bit, right?
I think it should. I mean, if you get into, look what Brockway did to Red Bank.
Is this?
Look what Ridgeway did to Keystone. Look what Red Bank did to Ridgeway. It gets all confusing.
Yeah, you know, and on the other hand, Keystone is 1-3 in its last 4 games.
Yeah.
Now, do I think there's that much that separates Keystone from Ridgeway? Of course I don't.
Pull Ridgeway's schedule up.
I mean, again, looking at Ridgeway, like,
you would say their signature win was the Keystone.
Yeah, their signature win's got to be the Keystone game. Keystone's signature win is, Probably Kane, right? Like that's their signature win. And Kane's signature win is Ridgeway. So that therein lies what this debate's all about, right? Like that's what this debate's all about, is the fact that their signature wins have come against each other. And there's no way to really break that tie other than, your thoughts on each football team, really, at the end of the day. And so does it start to become, well, whose loss was better than whose loss? Kane loses to Keystone 56-19. Keystone and Ridgeway play within a touchdown of each other. Kane and Ridgeway play within a touchdown of each other. When you start looking at that, maybe Keystone's 4 and Ridgeway's 5.
Mm-hmm.
This is what makes this one really, really difficult. And I'm not sure there's a correct answer.
I think if it's just me and they're all this close, I'm going to records probably.
At which point you go back to what I said at the beginning, which is Kane, Ridgeway, Keystone.
Yeah.
And so, at the end of the day, there are times where we can look at something and go, like, okay, I can go in soccer. I don't really understand why Carn City is seated in the girls below Elk, other than Elk had an undefeated record going into the seeding and Carn City didn't, but Carn City played a tougher schedule, and that's the reason they didn't have that one. I could argue with you all night long about. Okay, when these seedings come out next week between these 3 teams, I can't argue. I can't come up with an argument that says they're wrong, unless somehow or other one of those teams like jumps ahead of Red Bank. Then I'd be like, you're wrong, right? As long as Red Bank beats Brookville, that's the caveat there. But
who's Keystone play this week?
Keystone's got Coudersport.
Oh, that's right.
So, at the end of the day, I don't think there's a wrong answer to what it said. We've gone around here for like 10 minutes on this, right? And we've made a case for each one of them being 4, 5, and 6. And I don't think there's a consensus here. I think Andy's got a good point, and I think Ronnie has a good point. And I think that at the end of the day, there is no consensus. So, I think that if you're the committee, don't waste more than about the 10 minutes we just spent on it. Have a vote. And whatever that vote comes out is what that vote comes out.
So who gets a bye the first round?
Excuse me. The number 1 seed will, because I don't think there'll be an 8th team.
Yeah.
So Port will get the bye, and if Cameron goes, and I assume Cameron's going to go, but who knows? Maybe they decide not to go. I don't know. But if Cameron goes, then they play Union AC, and then 6 plays Red Bank, 5 plays 4. And
yeah, so we don't want Keystone 6, I don't think.
At Red Bank, but do you really want Ridgeway, who you only beat by 12, and when Ridgeway wasn't even playing like Ridgeway's playing now? The only team you'd really want, I think, is Kane. And once they hear me say that, then that's on their chalkboard. Matt Bodemer's putting that on his chalkboard right as we speak.
Hey, I will tell you, we're talking about Braylon playing games, and I've told this to Ronnie before, but a game that really didn't matter a whole lot was when we played Kane last year, right? I said, that's one game that I thought Braylon Ragnar really took that game on his shoulders, and that come down to, what was it at the end? I don't remember the final score, but it come down right to the final seconds of that game. And so I don't know if I want to go back to Kane thinking about that.
Well, the good news for Red Bank is that's a home game.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Kane's field's pretty nice. Might rather play at Kane.
Yeah.
What? You're saying you don't want to play on what's become...
Remember they did that fake punt?
Yeah.
Yeah, they pulled everything out there.
I mean, Matt Bodemer's doing a great job with that program, taking them from... Now, again, they had their schedule not quite as difficult at the end of the day. I mean, a couple wins over Smethport. Although Smethport's playing a lot better now. Cowdy, Montauk, Cowdy twice. I hate this twice thing. Even though I got to see a really good twice game when Carn City beat Punxsy, still hate the twice thing. Drives me nuts. We only play in 10 games. Yeah. I understand in the NFL when you play 17, why you play somebody twice. Driving me nuts that we're playing teams twice. And like,
you think we should play the conference games and then pick up after that?
I don't know. I think that, like, if it's me, okay, so what's each region has 5 teams in it, so it's 4 games, right? First 2 weeks non-conference. Next 4 weeks are all your conference games. So that's what, 6 at that point, and then, or maybe no. Let's go this. Let's go 2 weeks non-conference. That's 2. Then 2 weeks of conference. That's 4. Then a non-conference. That's 5 plus 2 weeks of conference is 7. I don't know. Would you rather have a conference game wouldn't you rather have a conference game in the last week of the season or the next to the last week of the season? Like last week, let's say like this past week. Would you rather have a conference game then?
Yeah, I think
Depends if someone got hurt.
Well, I
Yeah,
think
but isn't that part of the game?
when you get late in the season, I can see not wanting to have a conference game the last game of the season.
Sure. So I'm talking this past week,
Right.
not this coming week.
Right. Yeah, like that would be all right. I mean, if you just picked up games once you played your conference games, the good part is like if you take a Port Allegheny, if you think you're bringing a good group of kids back and you think you can make a deep push, you go out and schedule the Clarions.
Well,
and
sure.
And,
What I don't like, Ronnie, is I don't like playing a region game in week 1 because I don't think you know what your football team is yet in week 1, and so therefore I'm not a big fan of those first couple. I think those first couple of weeks are still feeling out weeks, and so I don't want region titles decided because you're playing a region game in week 1 or 2. Let's wait until about week 3 to play a region game. So or week 4 to play a region game. Like maybe we go 3 non-region. Then 2 region, that gets us to 5. Play 2 non-region, that gets us to 7. And then in weeks 8 and 9, finish off your region season. And then in week 10, you can pick up another non-region. As I think that would be, in the grand scheme of it, that would be the perfect way to do it.
So like a Kane, for instance, they played Calder Sport twice. Is that a region game?
No, those weren't even region. Neither of them were region games.
So in that circumstance, like they would just pick up a Calder Sport that first time and then whoever.
Well, okay, let's take a look at we'll use your schedule for an example, okay? So weeks 1 and 2 would have been perfect the way it was scheduled. Ridgeway and then Union AC. Okay, those are 2 non-region games. Week 3 you played Brockway, that was a region game. Week 4 you played Otto. Instead of playing Otto, we'll bump Port to that week, okay? Then we'll bump Otto down and Punxsy to the next 2 weeks. And then, well, actually we would go Ridgeway Union. Let's say we go Ridgeway Union Auto. Okay. Those are 3 non-region games. Then you would play 2 region games, Brockway and Port. That would be 5. Then you would play Punxsy and Brochere. That would be 6 and 7. And then you'd finish with Bradford and Brookville in your region play. And then you'd play Keystone in, say, the last week. Save that last week for rivalries. I think rivalries should always be played in the last week. Now, in this case, your rivalry is probably Union AC. So maybe you want to flip-flop Keystone with that. Keystone's rivalry, I don't know. We'll just say it was Central Clarion, right? So they'll play Central Clarion in that game. But leave that last week for rivalries. In District 10, there's something I don't like. They had teams that had games scheduled for this week, like Corey and Oil City were scheduled to play this Friday. On mutual agreement of the 2 teams, they're not going to play and get ready for the playoffs.
Just not playing.
Yeah, just not playing. I don't like that. I don't like that a scheduled game is now not going to be played because you're both playoff teams and you don't want to get hurt for the playoffs. If that was your worry, why the heck did you schedule that week 10 game to begin with?
Send your JV players out.
Yeah, I don't like the idea of not playing. I just don't. I'm not a big fan of games that you were on. Games that were on the schedule should be made to be played, and when you don't play them, you're taking away from the integrity of the football game.
I don't necessarily disagree with like I don't think you should just not play it. Personally. Yeah. Like I'm cool if you called that other coach and said, "Hey, look, we're both a playoff team. We'll run our starters for a quarter or so, and then we're going to."
NFL teams do it all the time.
Right. Like I think that's more than fair. And most opposing coaches would, if they were in agreement to cancel the game, they'd probably be in agreement to say, "Hey, let's run it for a quarter and then call JVs in after."
I feel like though, in a way, we're taken away from the kids want to play football.
Right.
I know you want to win a district championship, but do you think any kid on either one of them teams doesn't want to play that week?
They might tell you that now because their coaches told them they didn't want to play. But I think deep down, no. I think they want to play. That's just my thought on it.
That goes back to the fun of the game.
Right.
Yeah.
I was going to say, is that like an out-of-conference game?
Sure, it's like an out-of-region game.
Gotcha.
But like my question is, why did you schedule it? Like, you had to have known if you're Oil City and Corey that you were both probably going to be playoff teams. Nobody's really gets surprised. Very seldom are you ever surprised that you're a playoff team, right? Like, you don't go, oh my God, I can't believe how good we are. Sometimes you might go, boy, I can't believe how bad we are. But very seldom do you go, my God, I didn't see this coming at all, right? Like, how often have you had a team that's completely overachieved to the point where they go from being a team that you didn't think was going to be a playoff team to being a playoff team, right?
Now, how much influence did the coaches have in the scheduling, though? Is that like an athletic director?
Well,
Yeah,
then shouldn't that decision then always be made at the athletic director? Like, but that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're an athletic director who's not talking to your coaches, then you're a bad athletic director. There's no other way to put it. If you've got an athletic director who doesn't know what their football program is going to be going into the season, then you're not a very good athletic director. Like, you're terrible at your job. You're really, really bad at your job if you haven't had a conversation with your football coach about, hey, what do you think we're going to be this year, right? Like, come on. Like, that is part of your job as being an athletic director. Isn't just making schedules here. It's about having a pulse on your teams and what they want and how they want it. Isn't it?
Yeah, I would agree.
I mean,
think there has to be some type of communication.
Yeah, it has to be. If you don't have any communication with your teams, then I got an idea for you. Stop being an athletic director. Like, I don't know what else to say. Hey, it's Audibly Festival in Clarion this week. I know you guys are down here in New Bethlehem, so you might not even be aware of that.
I wasn't aware of it.
Yeah, that's what I figured. So I'll take it that means you don't go up at all to the.
Did you get a bread bowl?
I haven't been up yet. I'm going to probably go up tonight. Yeah, maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow. I don't know. It's a nicer night tonight. Probably tonight.
When's the craft show?
Friday. You ever go to the craft show?
I have been there.
I like going to the craft show.
Yeah.
I don't really buy anything. I just like walking up and down and seeing all the people. I think that's kind of cool to see all the people.
It's amazing how many people come into that town for that one day.
Oh, it's crazy. You ever go to the football game or the parade?
I've been to the parade. I've actually driven in the parade a few times. It's pretty cool to see all the people. It's fun.
Yeah, it's a good time.
We should get a Nolf Bites float. We can dress you up in like
a little late to think about this. We should have thought about that like weeks ago. Next year, put it on the list for next year.
We could have been doing this show
live.
Today.
Oh, we could have. We could have been doing the show from the. Oh,
next year.
Oh, Ronnie, where was this idea weeks ago?
Right.
We could have been we could have been on the float talking as we're going along about football.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd have been awesome.
Get like Jace Ferguson to throw candy.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd have been unbelievable. Where the heck was that idea, Ronnie? Come on, man.
I'll tell you what. We'll crown a wizard and a red hat. The Autumn Leaf Wizard and red hat.
Well, folks, that's going to do it for us here this week on Nolf Bites, the show that bites from Nolf Dodge. You give it, Ronnie.
They figured it out.
Nolf Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram in Fairmont City. Until next week, I'm Chris Rossetti for Ronnie Geist and Andy Byers. Say good night. Why should you choose Nolf Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram in Fairmont City? Why wouldn't you choose them? At Nolf, their sales are speedy and include upfront and straightforward pricing. If it's service and parts you're after, they have skilled technicians who are factory trained while offering knowledgeable parts experts. Maybe you need Nolf's full service body shop offering top quality collision repair to all makes and models of cars, trucks, vans, and SUVs. Or do you want to cruise the highway in a clean, shiny vehicle thanks to Nolf's detailing service? No matter your needs, Nolf Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram in Fairmont City is there for you. Find out more at nolfchrysler.dodge.com.